Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Sheriff Todd Baxter. My name is Chris Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, and I'm demanding public information from you. The information I demand is your public employee payroll. This document must detail the names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office and Monroe County Sheriff's Office. What do you not understand about this demand, Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter? Kathleen Miller. On February 14, 2019, there's your signature. 1 year ago on Valentine's Day. Kathleen Miller, you signed your name on February 14, 2019. This is a foil for the public employee payroll for the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Where is it? How much are you paid, Kathleen Miller? When you go to your bank, Kathleen Miller, what do you think's in your account? It's not money from mom and dad. It's not money from grandma and grandpa. That's taxpayer dollars, Kathleen Miller. Same thing with you. Michael Radler, S.R. Birdie W. Today, and I don't know your first name S, and I don't know your first name W, so I don't have the public employee payroll. So, Sandra Doorley's received this too. D. Harrington. Michael Radler, what do you do when you sign for these demands? There's your signature. What do you do when you receive this, Michael Radler? Tell me. What do you do with the document that demands your public employee payroll? Michael Radler, Kelly Cardwell's on here too. Over and over and over, I'm demanding a list of the individuals at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office or Monroe County District Attorney's Office with the salary next to the name. It's that simple. And I've handled a Freedom of Information Law document demand from reporters when I worked for Governor George Pataki and Senate Majority Ralph Marino in Albany and Congressman Lamar Smith and Senator Olympia Stowe in Capitol Hill. So the document that I'm sending to you, I have received as a public employee, and I disclosed. You, Todd Baxter, and you, Sandra Doorley, exist in absolute and total contempt for the law. So on Valentine's Day, 2020, that's the Freedom of Information Law document that demands a list of salaries for every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office. What do you fail to understand about this document that compels your bosses to send me public information? I know why you don't want to send it to me. Because every assistant district attorney and every employee at the district attorney's office is going to look at that list, and then they're going to know how much everybody makes, and there's going to be rage because they're going to see the individuals that make more, and they're going to think, how come this individual is making more than me? And that's going to happen at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. What happens if there's an individual at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office that has 5 years on the job, and he's making more money than a guy that's on the job for 10 years? What happens if a junior employee at the sheriff's office or at the district attorney's office, a junior employee in seniority, meaning length of time on the job, is making more money? If every public employee at the sheriff's office and district attorney's office looks at a list of the salaries, there is going to be an unrelenting rage at 130 South Plymouth Avenue and 47 South Fitzhugh Street. Rage directed at your offices from your employees. Your entire existence is because of the taxpayers of Monroe County and the state of New York. Disclose your public employee salaries to me. Freedom of Information Law. Names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. There's my name. This document has the same information. My name, C. Chichester, J04, Gmail, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, Penfield, New York. My phone number is 585-678-9291. Chris Chichester. February 14th, 2020. Valentine's Day. I'm driving a big lazy car up the highway in the dark. I got one hand steady on the wheel and one hand's trembling over my heart. Freedom of Information Law. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Kyle Steinbach, what do you pay? What's your salary at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Kyle? Do you think that I have no right to demand your salary, Kyle? You are a public employee, Kyle Steinbach. What are you paid at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office? Chris Chichester, February 14th, 2020. Freedom of Information Law. Total cost of overtime or time and a half or however pay beyond a base salary is calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. There's a standard 40-hour work week with a base salary that every public employee is paid, and then there is money that is paid to individuals at the Sheriff's Office and the District Attorney's Office that is beyond the 40-hour work week. Do you understand this language at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office? Overtime, time and a half. These are general terms. Do Sandra, Doorley, and Todd Baxter pay public employees money beyond the 40-hour work week that is either overtime or time and a half, or however it is defined that someone receives money beyond the 40-hour work week? And it's pounding, baby. Gonna bust right on through, and it ain't gonna stop till I'm alone again with you. Freedom of Information Law. Cost of surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter and affixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road to monitor if Christopher Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. Surveillance device. You, Sheriff Todd Baxter, purchased a surveillance device and put it on the building at 2025 Penfield Road because you want to concoct a crime from me for walking through the parking lot for the 4,000 plus time. That surveillance device is for me and not for anybody else. You bought that for me. This Todd Baxter is the visual evidence of your surveillance device. It is right there. Do you see that camera right there? That is your camera right there. What's not to understand about this? This is your camera. Your fanatics told this grass-cutting loser to get on his tractor and go by my house because you know I was going to come outside. Should not be on land you don't own and can't prove you own. If there's no grass cutting for 5 years next to my residence, no one owns that land, especially if the individuals like these parasites, Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah, because they don't have the documentation. So when I came outside my residence, I was outside for 30 seconds, Todd Baxter. 30 seconds. I stood on Sandra's farm drive. I said to him, they don't own that land, or he doesn't own that land. I'll walk back into my residence. And then you 6 fanatics descended on me. Deputy Whack Job Meyer, who I spoke to on the phone for an hour, and I don't know if she's writing a warrant for my arrest, this lying hack, and she fits right into the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, being a lying hack, falls down in my backyard, pounding on my door. You're pounding on my door to get to me. I open the door, I walk outside, and you surround me on the front lawn. So, when the handcuffs went on, and I was taken to your jail, your public employee, Todd Baxter, showed me the video of me outside. And that video was from this surveillance device that you expended taxpayer dollars to put on this building because you're concocting criminal contempt for me. What do you not understand about this fact? This is your surveillance device, Sheriff Todd Baxter, that you expended taxpayer dollars for to put on this building in your sick, perverted, demented, disgusting 1984. Freedom of Information Law. The cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher to attend the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 with his canine dog, Lola. This is Ryan Fisher, your public employee, Todd Baxter, that I do not know the salary for, standing in Atlanta, Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium with his canine dog. Why isn't Ryan Fisher in Rochester? Why isn't Ryan Fisher in Fairport? Why isn't Ryan Fisher in Penfield? Why isn't Ryan Fisher in Webster? Why isn't Ryan Fisher anywhere in Monroe County? This is a fucking disgrace that you spent taxpayer dollars to send your public employee 2,000 miles away to Atlanta, Georgia. How much was his plane ticket, Sheriff Todd Baxter? How much was his hotel room, Sheriff Todd Baxter? How much was it for the care and feeding of his dog, Lola, Sheriff Todd Baxter? This attached PDF demands that you disclose that information to me. Freedom of Information Law. The cost to taxpayers for a photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter to photograph 10 public employees underwater in a pool. A training exercise, huh? That's what I'm told it was. A training exercise? A training exercise is what I got in the mail. How is this a training exercise, Sheriff Todd Baxter? I'm trying not to laugh at your stooge incompetence and buffoonery. What type of training is going on here? Let me know, Todd the Fascist Stooge. I mean, what the hell are you doing with your public employees underwater in a pool? I'm going to have to examine this for the training that's going on. Pardon me one minute. Let me look at the training going on here. Let's see here. The training here. That's a lot of scoop equipment. Wow, how's the training going there, Todd the Fascist Stooge? What the hell are you doing in Monroe County, Todd Baxter? Freedom of Information Law. Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day, Freedom of Information Law. Isn't that right, Kathleen Mills, sweetheart? You signed 1 year ago for these documents. Cost of taxpayers of Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter expended tax dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits for failure to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That language couldn't be any more clearer. What's the answer, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Are your employees engaging in this nauseating behavior that is sexual harassment? What's sexual harassment? It's a man asking a woman out on a date over and over and over, and she is under siege at the office with no. It's a man touching a woman on parts of her body from which she should never be touched. It's a man using vulgar, vile, disgusting, obscene language in the office, and that language makes it impossible to focus and concentrate and do a job. Those are just 3 examples, and it manifests itself in 1,000+ ways every single day, and it dehumanizes and devalues the soul. So, what is the answer, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Have you expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits under Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act of 1960? Of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Freedom of Information Law. The key word, Sandra Doorley, in this document I'm holding in my hand is law. Do you understand the key word in this document, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley? Because it is law. The cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley has expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits for failure to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. What is the answer to that question at 47 South Fitzhugh Street in Rochester? What is the answer to that question, Perry Duckles? Based on my experience in public service and in a bureaucracy, oftentimes the person at the head, the boss, is unaware of things that are going on. And the number 2 or number 3 or the subordinates really truly know what's going on. So you, Perry Duckles, can answer this question. Is the answer yes or is the answer no? What is going on at your Monroe County District Attorney's office? I don't know the answer, and I'm not going to speculate as to the answer. All you have to do is say yes or no. Has Sandra Doorley, the District Attorney of Monroe County, expended taxpayer dollars to settle sexual harassment-related lawsuits under Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act? What is the answer to that question, Perry Duckles? It is so simple to answer this question. If the answer is no, Perry, the answer is no. And it has finality. No is finality. If the answer is yes, then what are the details of such a settlement? What are the names of the individuals involved? If you refuse to answer, and you will refuse, then it's easy to speculate as to what is happening at 47 South Fitzhugh Street. Because if the District Attorney of Monroe County is presiding over an environment where her employees behave like slobs and pigs and criminals and degenerates, that is news. That is not only news that the Democrat and Chronicle and Channel 6, 10, 13 would be interested in. That is news that the United States Attorney's Office would be interested in hearing more about. Freedom of Information Law. The names and charges of every inmate in Monroe County Jail from January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2018. The name, the charge. You, Sheriff Baxter, had 80-year-old Bob in your jail walking around to 25-year-old gang members. How is 80-year-old Bob going to defend himself from an 25-year-old gang member? Your jail is a public facility, Todd Baxter. I demand to know who was there. And the reason why I demand to know who's there, and I want to see the name and charges, I want to talk to these individuals. I'm walking around in your jail as an innocent man. I have never committed a crime. You descended on me twice. I wrote everything down. I'm writing every single day. And your jail employee that I have the name for, I notice that he's in my vicinity. And then I notice that he's following me around. And I'm not paranoid about anything. He's following me around. I go back into my jail cell, and the fact that I have to say my jail cell is an innocent man enrages me. I go in there, I sit down on my cot, and he comes in. He stands in front of me, I look up at him, and he goes to grab my notebook, and I pull it away. And he takes my arm. He's above me, I'm sitting down. So he has an advantage over me for what he's about to do. So I pull it away. And he grabs my arm, puts it behind my back, jams my arm up my back, takes my notebook, and leaves. Now my arm's bothering me all afternoon. I have to go to the doctor. So I go to the front desk. I say to the guy at the front desk, my arm's bothering me. I have to go to the doctor. That's all I say. And who comes to get me in my jail cell? The same guy. So I go to the jail doctor. And I tell the jail doctor what I just said right here. And the jail doctor says to me, who did this to you and twist your arm behind your back? And I reply, the guy standing behind me. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the female prosecutor, District Attorney Sandra Doorley? Your prosecutor, Sandra Doorley, did not talk in Penfield Town Court. She did not say one word, not one sound, not one syllable. There is nothing from your Assistant District Attorney, Sandra Doorley. How am I delivered to Monroe County Jail as an innocent man when your public employee I do not know the salary for doesn't talk in the nauseating Star Chamber of Penfield Town Court? How does that happen? Any individual that appears in court has to look at the prosecutor make an argument. She didn't talk. How am I delivered to Monroe County Jail when the prosecutor doesn't make an argument? She doesn't make an argument because I'm innocent. She has nothing because I'm innocent. Conviction Integrity Unit. You, Sandra Doorley, had to form a separate bureaucracy in the Monroe County District Attorney's Office called the Conviction Integrity Unit to police yourself. You have a separate bureaucracy, District Attorney Sandra Doorley, to police your own behavior and your own employees, and that is an astounding confession as to your incompetence. Freedom of Information Law. The date Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter hired Monroe County Sheriff employee Michael Rather. You, Michael Rather, were a Monroe County Sheriff employee for 20 years and then you retired. You were finished. You, Michael Rather, were a private citizen. and then Sheriff Todd Baxter rehired you as an assistant or a special assistant, and you now exist at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Michael Radler, as a double dipper, because you have your paycheck from your 20 plus year career with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and you have your present paycheck as an employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office right now. When Todd Baxter runs for re-election, I'm going to follow him around, and I'm going to be right there next to him. And this is one of the questions I'm going to ask him. I'm going to ask him to his face when he runs for re-election. Sheriff Baxter, how is it that you rehired Michael Radler after he was retired, and he exists as a double dipper? Freedom of Information Law. What are the physical training standards or requirements at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? I was on your Facebook page, Todd Baxter. Nearly every single person, every single public employee in uniform at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office was overweight. Not just by a few pounds. Not just a little 5 pounds here, 5 pounds there, little love handles. You got men and women in uniform at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office that are easily 20 plus pounds overweight. What happens if you have to run after a criminal on the job, a real criminal? When I was in the Army, we had the PT test, the push-ups, the sit-ups, the 2-mile run. If you didn't do the required number of push-ups, the required number of sit-ups, and finish the 2-mile run at a certain time, you were flagged. And I know about being flagged because I did the paperwork to flag these people. By the way, I was perfect 300. So, do you flag people or use such an equivalent that are not in shape? And I already know the answer to this question. This is rhetorical foil. You don't have any height, weight standards for your public employees where you can evaluate if someone's overweight. You don't have any physical training requirements that are the equivalent of a PT test. Your public employees, Todd Baxter, will have to run after suspects in Rochester, in Monroe County. Do you understand this fact? That criminals like to run away from the cops? Do you get it, Todd, baby? Criminals like to run away from the cops, and you know what? Then the cops have to run after the criminals, and they have to be in shape. You don't have any PT tests. You don't have any physical standards. You got nothing, baby, because you're sitting around eating your Wegmans donuts at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. That's why you all have weight problems. So, response to my Freedom of Information request dated January 31, 2020. Dear Mr. January 31, 2020, yes. Dear Mr. Chichester, pursuant to your request for information under Freedom of Information, what documents being requested are not part of any record that is maintained or kept by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. This request would need to be directed at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. At this time, the Monroe County Department of Communications now considers this request closed. You may appeal this decision in writing within 30 days to the appeals officer, Monroe County Sheriff. The appeals officer is Jeffrey L. McCann, 39 West Main Street, Suite 110, Rochester, New York, 14614. Sincerely, Todd K. Baxter, Monroe County Sheriff. What the hell is this? I'm demanding your public employees' salaries and other information. And I get, at this time, the Monroe County Department of Communications now considers this request closed. What the hell does that mean? Are you talking about your surveillance devices? That's only one foil. Where are the salaries, Todd, baby? You may appeal this decision in writing within 30 days. I'm going to appeal right now to you, Todd, the fascist stooge. I'm appealing. I'm appealing right now. Send me your public employee payroll, Todd. You got that? Why do you think you exist? Because of the taxpayers of Monroe County, the state of New York. Sincerely, you need to be honest, as I previously told me. So, in the future, Todd, when you write to me I don't want to have this phony sincerely here. You need to say, fuck you, Chris, right here. Todd K. Baxter, Monroe County Sheriff. You need to be honest in your communications. Now, Sheriff Baxter, since I'm demanding, and I just demanded again on Valentine's Day, and Bruce Springsteen should sing Valentine's Day to everybody at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office, even though you don't deserve it. I'm demanding the public employee salaries, Madam District Attorney and Sheriff Baxter, and there are certain public employees at your respective offices I demand a salary for. It's not just a list of every salary the District Attorney's Office and the Sheriff's Office. There are specific individuals I'm going to tell you about right now that you employ. This is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee David Berkowitz, otherwise known as the son of Sam. So what is the salary? What do you pay the son of Sam, Sheriff Todd Baxter? You got that, Todd? Now, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley. This is Assistant District Attorney Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. What do you pay Assistant District Attorney Khalid Sheikh Mohammed? And he's obviously got some severe grooming issues going on right here. I don't know what that is, but I know you think he's a handsome stud there, Sandra. So what do you pay Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in Rochester, 47 South Fitzhugh Street, sweetheart? So, Sheriff Baxter, I'm very concerned about this next employee here. She may have been outside there with your 6 fanatic standing on my front lawn for me being outside for 30 seconds after Deputy Whack Job mine fell down on my backyard dirt. This is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Mary K. Letourneau. Do you recognize your employee, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Mary K. Letourneau? You'll be able to recognize her because she's really into 15-year-old boys, okay? So you need to counsel her and tell your employee, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Mary K. Letourneau, to stay away from 15-year-old boys. You got that, Todd? I'm Madam District Attorney. This next employee is, I demand a salary for. I demand the salary for Assistant District Attorney Pete Maverick Mitchell. What does Pete Maverick Mitchell make at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office? Especially since he killed Goose. It's his fault. He killed Goose. He won't admit it. Goose is dead because of him. So, what do you pay your employee, Pete Maverick Mitchell, Madam District Attorney? Now, Sheriff Baxter, this last employee I'm concerned about, just like all the other employees. This employee could be especially troublesome, Sheriff Baxter. This is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Pablo Escobar. Do you recognize your employee, Sheriff Baxter? See, I think he's got a little blow there under his nose there, Todd, baby. So you need to counsel him about that. So. This is fiction, Sheriff Baxter. This is your descent on my life as an innocent man. I have never committed a crime. I have never committed a crime, Sheriff Todd Baxter. I go to the now defunct PW Fitness in Penfield. I'm at the back of the gym on the bench press. I'm about to begin the exercise. Up walks to me Jim's psychopath, Jermaine Benman. He goes like this. I ignore him. I lean back on the machine. Benman stands over me, punches down. My head snaps back. I should have jumped on top of Jermaine Benman and kicked the shit out of him. I didn't. I should have. I would have been in defense of myself. A witness calls the Monroe County Sheriff. We go outside. Andrew Reale tells me to wait in his Monroe County Sheriff vehicle. Why have you not fired Andrew Reale for concocting this vile crime for me? Why have you not fired Andrew Reale, Todd Baxter? I'm sitting in the back seat of your Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle after Andrew Reale talked to Jermaine Beman. He's coaching Jermaine Beman what to say. I'm looking out your window. I'm looking out the window of your Monroe County Sheriff vehicle, the front window, and Andrew Reale walks around to the side of the vehicle with this violent thug, Jermaine Beman. I do not know if he has a prior criminal record. I look out the window, and Jermaine Beman says to me, I want to press charges against you. That is how Andrew Reale concocts harassment second for me. I moved to my residence in 2012 with my then girlfriend, beautiful, perfect Laura. There's no grass cutting going on alongside our residence. Grass cutting is done a whole new way today. They're up on a tractor and makes a racket. It's not done like my grandfather did in Queens, my father did on Long Island. It's a racket, and they hear at 7 o'clock in the morning. And if there's nothing going on for 5 years when I lived here with beautiful, perfect Laura, no one owns this land next to my house. I'm outside for 30 seconds, Todd Baxter. 30 seconds. I walk outside. I stand on Sanders Farm Drive. 30 seconds, I'm outside. I'm standing right here. 30 seconds, Todd Baxter. 30 seconds, I'm outside. They don't own that land. I walk in my house. What crime am I committing? The guy rides his tractor along and no one owns that land. He stops and gets off his tractor, walks away, and Steve Devson is a private citizen that works for Brock Hole and Tree and Law Care. Your employees are empowering a private citizen to deliver them to my residence. How often at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office do you use a civilian in the operations of your office, especially when you're concocting criminal contempt for me? How is it a crime to leave my house, come outside, stand here, say they don't own that land, and walk back in my residence? How is that a crime, Todd Baxter? How is that criminal contempt, Todd Baxter? Accusatory instrument from these parasites, Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah. I've walked through this parking lot 4,000 times, just like my neighbors. That's the defendant. That's me. I'm the defendant. On the above date location at approximately 1440 hours did knowingly enter or remain unlawfully in or upon the premises of 2041 Penfield Road, Penfield, New York, by walking through the parking lot after being told through certified mail and by police that he's not allowed on the property. Yeah, well, when you descended on me, I'm standing right here. That's not the parking lot. So, the accusatory instrument is that I'm walking through the parking lot. Is that right? I'm walking through the parking lot. I've walked through 4,000 times, right? Is that right, Sheriff Todd Baxter? They're my neighbors. Do you see this photograph I'm holding in my hand? Sheriff Todd Baxter and Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah. What country do you live in, Neeraj and Layla Kumar? Where's the United States of America located on a map, Neeraj and Layla Kumar? You can't ask Sheriff Todd Baxter because Sheriff Todd Baxter doesn't know he lives in the United States of America either. Every day, my neighbors walk through this parking lot. Were you outside, going berserk, doing the full Mel Gibson, Neeraj, screaming at my neighbors? Were you outside screaming at the 200 people that walked through this parking lot the day of the fireworks on June 30th at Harris Wayland Park? Were you screaming at the Penfield High School band students that walked through this parking lot that day? What would the mothers and fathers at Penfield High School think if you're outside losing your mind, screaming at high school students in their band uniforms for walking through that parking lot? There's something radically wrong with you, Neeraj. So, when Dr. Gloria Nichols was in that building, I used to walk through the parking lot, just like my neighbors, and she would say, hello, how are you? One of the nicest, most decent people anybody would ever want to meet, Dr. Gloria Nichols. And that's why I decided to go over there and make an appointment. I lived here for a few years before I went over there. I had a dentist. I thought, she's right over here. She's so nice and so friendly. I'll just go over there to her. And she's still my dentist. There are not individuals that I've ever encountered that could be polar opposites like Dr. Glory Nichols and Nairaj and Lila Kumar Shah, because you have love and hate. So, hate. I'm walking my dog, just like I do every day for 7 years, and the back window from the Shah law firm flies open. I'm walking my dog on land they don't own and can't prove they own. She is screaming at me, their employee, this overweight woman, this deuce and a half, is losing it. This is the way they are, screaming and losing their minds. I take my little guy in. I adopted from Lollipop Farm Humane Society. I walk over there. She refuses to talk to me. So does Nairaj and Lila Kumar. I leave. I know when someone doesn't want to talk. They already called the animal control and Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And you're here to seize my little guy based on one phone call. There is not a dog owner on planet Earth that surrenders his dog, her dog, to the cops because the fucking cops demanded it, Todd Baxter. You are so alienated from how people live their lives that you're showing up at my residence demanding my little guy. You know, my then girlfriend, beautiful, perfect, and Long Island, we wanted a dog nobody wanted when we lived in Webster. We went to Lollipop and we interviewed. It's an extensive interview. And we went to the cages, and Laura and I walked by the cages, a lot of barking dogs. And we're talking about how, well, we don't want to, we only can pick one, so we have to make decisions here. And I said to her, well, I don't want to get a barking dog. That could be a temperament issue, could be. I don't know, because I'm not a veterinarian, but I'm not going to get a barking dog. And he was sitting in his cage, still, and he's looking up like this. And Laura said, he's looking up like this. Laura said, he's looking right at you. And he was. And he's been with me ever since. I'm not going to bore you with all the stories, because they will be boring. They're not boring to me, but they'll be boring to people I tell them to. I wake up in the morning, I have to avoid stepping on him because he wants to be near me. He used to jump up on the bed. How the hell do you think that I'm going to give him up, Todd Baxter, just because you show up? What is wrong with you, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Have you heard of the 1966 Supreme Court decision, Miranda versus Arizona, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Why have I never heard Miranda? I come outside, 30 seconds. I stand here. They don't own my land. I walk back in my house. This private citizen, Steve Desmond, delivers your 6-foot addicts here. I didn't hear Miranda. I go to Penfield Town Court as an innocent man. The handcuffs go on without the prosecutor talking in Penfield Town Court. Andrew Reality's right there. Put your hands behind your back. I didn't hear Miranda. How is that happen, Sheriff Todd Baxter? How is it that you, Todd Baxter, and your fanatics that I don't know the salary for have descended on me twice? I have never heard Miranda, Sheriff Todd Baxter. You're afraid to open your mail. You're afraid to open your mail from me, Sheriff Todd Baxter. That's because you know the public employee payroll's in here. So, I've been demanding your public employee payroll for a year. Over a year now. Where is it? You're going to continue to refuse, Madam District Attorney Sandra Doorley? You're going to continue to refuse, Sheriff Todd Baxter? Good. The Freedom of Information Law is the weaponization of information. Where is a list of salaries for every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Attached in PDF is this Freedom of Information Law document that I just read to you. So send to this email, cchichesterjur4@gmail.com, or my home address at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, 14526, a list of salaries for every public employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office.